Hi family, welcome to the channel once again. Thanks for being there and being very active. We have another segment again of the interview between Piers and Andrew Tate. Family, in this segment, Andrew Tate reveals the metrics. You know, I've heard of the metrics, I've heard of what they do, but I love the way Andrew Tate exposes them and exposes what they do and how they coin around what he does, and they jailed him for that. This revelation will really surprise. So let us listen to what Andrew Tate will say. Before that, I like his make. It's very amazing, guys. Let's watch Andrew Tate as he exposes the metrics.
You may not agree with that.
Absolutely.
But those are facts as assumed by the body of scientific and medical experts in the world.
The body of scientific and medical experts, you mean the Matrix. I could get...
What is the Matrix?
The Matrix are a bunch of people who can come up with studies from the sky to say anything they want them to say, so they can use the MSM to purport garbage inside of people's minds. So you end up locked in your house, clapping for the NHS like a performing seal, injecting yourself with experimental poison for the 9th time. It's a lie. There was no reason to lock everyone in their house. More people died from missed cancer appointments than anyone ever died of COVID. People always got the sniffles before COVID.
Now, this research has been made the family that people that die of cancer may be more than those that died of COVID. This research was hidden from us, but meanwhile, it's the truth, family. And I love the way Andrew Tate exposes that right before Piers Morgan.
And they've always got it since.
Let
me ask you a question.
Hang on,
sir.
it wasn't.
Where is COVID gone?
It wasn't.
Diseases don't go away.
It wasn't.
Where's COVID gone?
It wasn't. Well, the COVID strains have got milder, as indeed flu did. Flu used to
so
kill.
It's gone away now.
Well, flu pandemic in about 100 years ago killed 50 to 100 million people, and it's got steadily milder over the decades since. This is normal medical science pathway for most pandemics, right? So on that, I mean, your sort of cast iron, it was all Matrix, MSM nonsense is palpably untrue.
Well, I'll tell you why that's not untrue. Let me tell you my personal experience with COVID. I'm an extremely logical person. At the beginning, when everyone was dying, dropping dead in the streets in China, which I never saw, by the way, funny, and the Italian hospitals were full, English hospitals were never full, funny. Me and my brother sat there and said, if this disease is so deadly and can damage us as strong military-age males, then the world is over. So there's no point in hiding in our house. We decided to go to Sweden. On day one of COVID, day one when everyone still believed, we went to Sweden. Why does no one talk about the fact that Sweden was open the entire time? Why does no one talk about the fact they didn't have masks or lockdown or vaccines? My brother and I partied in nightclubs 7 days a week for 3 entire months while everyone in England was locked in their house.
Sweden actually had a number of restrictions.
Not when I was there. It was open.
Not as draconian as we had in the UK, and there are certainly legitimate questions to ask about the scale of our lockdowns. I think people panicked. They saw what was happening in Italy, which had the second best medical healthcare system in the world, and people were dying in massive numbers and the hospitals were overrun. So people may have panicked.
Did you hear about the guy who died in a motorcycle crash and it was a COVID death? Did you hear about that one?
Well, there was certain
Downing Street didn't seem very concerned with
there
COVID.
Was a long debate about people dying of COVID or with COVID. I know all that, but the bottom line for me, it is indisputable that COVID was a deadly pandemic that killed a lot of people. It turned out a lot of older people more than young people, but they didn't know that at the time, not for a long period. The vaccine saved millions of people's lives. There are legitimate questions about some of the boosters, about some of the side effects of the vaccines, as there are, by the way, with all vaccines. But the idea that COVID is some invention by the Matrix to suppress and control its people is for the birds, Andrew. It's for the birds.
It seems the birds and I are friends.
I don't think a smart...
Oh my God. Oh, Andrew Tate, wow. It says that for the birds and I, then we are friends. So I like the way he is able to reveal or expose the metrics as the fact that they brought the COVID to a system and now they're trying to hide the facts before us. But in quote, the birds and Andrew Tate, they know the facts that the metrics were behind all these things.
A guy like you actually believes that.
Of course I
and that's
absolutely
one of my problems.
believe that.
One of my problems I have with you is that I think you are intelligent, but I think you also adopt positions that you know are going to get the and the anti-matrix mob inflamed. And it's just these all-encompassing views you have. COVID was a load of nonsense. Vaccines are all dangerous and killing more people than they say.
Never said that. I said the COVID vaccine.
Well, COVID vaccine, well, you don't think they worked?
No, of course not, because the idea of
course
a vaccine,
they worked.
The word vaccine in and of itself is that you get...
They saved millions of lives.
If you get a vaccine, you do not get the disease. They changed the definition of vaccine in the dictionary so they could continue to inject us with this pointless poison. I had the vaccine for polio. I've never had polio. You got the vaccine for COVID, and you're bragging online how you have COVID for the 8th time, but it's not that bad because you've had 6 injections. It's insane. And please understand my position. Please understand that I'm a person who doesn't believe any of these studies, don't believe any of this garbage, don't believe the Matrix. I'm a person who was in Sweden for 3 months as everyone was afraid, locked in their houses, partying at will. It was perfectly fine. They had a lower death rate than the UK.
Wow, family, this is so powerful. And with Tate, just an amazing man. It's so interesting. So he was in Sweden partying all the time, but never got COVID. Now, this kind of conspiracy about the COVID issue, like the way I like the idea of Tate with all these things. It's the fact, family, that the Matrix was behind all this motion, and Tate was hitting the nail right on the head about this stuff, guys. So thank you very much for watching the video. Thank you for watching the interview. I have other segments that I will soon roll. So I'll see you in this video. Take care and have a lovely day. Bye bye.